Right, everyone, welcome to another incredible month of AI. If this is the first time you're joining, it's going to be a very nice and fast 1 hour. Please use the Q&A button to ask questions. I will try to answer them as I go through. If I don't, at the very end, I will get through as many questions as we have, and I will add extra time if needed to get through them. If you have case studies, if you have anything that you need in AI, my goal and hope is to try to solve that live with everybody here. Lots of cool updates, of course. It's been an incredible month, so let's dive in. Last call to scan that QR code to join our WhatsApp group, and let's deep dive in. So, as a reminder of vjal Institute, the path to AI success, our goal is to get 1 million people, organizations, and governments transformed using AI. Please join us, become a trainer, become a coach. It's going to be absolutely fantastic and fun. Help us get to our goal and mission. We're still very much a social impact company, although we are now doing the whole gamut of everything. But our real goal is in the next 3 to 5 years, really help each and every one of you, organizations, your communities, adjust to AI, seize the opportunity, and of course, which we're going to talk about today, is to manage some of those risks. And there are a lot of risks. And I'm going to cover a couple of them which have started to come up. And hopefully, these ones will be something that, all of us, if we get together, really educate the next generation on AI, we won't have to suffer as much. Again, please use the Q&A tab. This is a great way to ask questions. The chat is disabled, yes, but I will be sending you links, so don't worry. The big one, right? GPT-5 finally drops, and I know some people are disappointed. More and more as we look at this, it does seem that apart from some hidden elements, which we'll talk about, most of that was dropped was their ability to provide the same level of performance at the edge as maybe O3, not Pro, but just O3 maybe, but at the same time be able to manage their costs, right? So it's an optimization drop rather than something truly revolutionary. And many of us were like, okay, from 3 to 4, that was like a huge change, right? From 4 to the thinking models, oh, 3+ was a huge change. And so we expected 5 to be next level. Did not happen, but at least it did one thing that makes my life easier and a lot of yours is, let me share my screen on that for you. They sorted out this. If you remember, number one question, do I use 4.0? Do I use O3? Do I use O3 mini or 4 mini high? And now it's just, 4 major tabs, auto, instant thinking. And if you've subscribed, the pro model. Now, my recommendation for everybody out there, particularly if you're in business, particularly in the enterprise, absolutely do not use instant. Always use thinking, and if possible, use pro. The difference, this is like useless. If I could put that with a double, here, let me write it down for you. So useless. Do not use this. And if the auto does this, it is useless. One of the biggest issues that we face that, oh my God, AI doesn't work. Oh my God, there's so many problems with AI is because people were defaulting to 4.0, which was the norm thinking model. The thinking model, if you remember, self-prompt, high quality. So please, in business, do not use the instant model. I know it's tempting. I've been tempted a while because thinking takes time. It could take anything between 10 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes. It breaks your flow, but the quality level, there is no comparison. So please never use instant. They always will try to point you to instant to save money. Do not use instant. Similarly, if I haven't given the warning just for ChatGPT, happy to give it for Gemini, which always just had a basic one. Do not use Flash. It's good. It's not great, but just don't use it. If you have access to Pro, just keep using Pro. Always use Pro for your searches, everything else. The quality is, again, night and day difference. Model is night and day difference. And particularly in business, you cannot trust the normal models. Always use thinking. Claude, always use thinking. Grok, always use thinking. DeepSeek, R1, always use thinking. So if the one thing that you got from this webinar is please always use thinking. Back to GPT-5. Let's look at some of the hits. I do believe they are being updated live, but as of jumping in, not too bad. Particularly in intelligence. And do note, this is the highs. This is super thinking. GPT-5 medium also jumps up. Speed, of course. This is the frustrating part. Medium is all the way here. High is all the way here. And I think this is why most people end up with the instant model is just because it's so slow. But again, please don't use it even if it's frustrating. What's of course interesting, and let me clear this so I can give you a better look. The price is, of course, priced per thousand words. This is not the consumer price or the $25 business price or enterprise price you pay. This is the backend API price. And this, of course, we're going to come and see this one. This is absolutely a remarkable model, the open source one. But even then, we can see all over the place, no comparison to any part of the intelligence systems. And for sure on coding, nowhere there. And so this isn't a coding model. This is definitely a more general purpose model for everybody to use. We do see Codex and another few GPT-5 systems. If you remember, 4.0 was a coding model. We should see something come out, but not too bad on the scales. And again, GPT-5 High rocking it. But I want you to notice something. First, on the coding, this is a huge difference between these two scores, right? This is the non-coding, my apologies. This is on the right side, this is the coding, but and web coding in particular, there is a huge difference. So if you see between 2.5 Pro or 3 Claude Opus, maybe 4 or 5 Yellow Point, and then the huge leap. This is spectacular, and we expect that to grow. Obviously, that is high thinking used in the API. So please use the thinking model at least. But more realistically, this is reflection of the pro mode. And that's what's really, really pushing. If you see, none of the other bits of it are even close. And so this model definitely, if you use ChatGPT Pro, is absolutely spectacular. Thinking is great. Flash is useless. Of course, the huge scandal and bad pictures I took, but um, so this was a huge scandal. It was so bad that Sam Altman got called out in the middle of the launch, and he had to apologize. If you ever noticed this, right? So it's GPT-5, and they say, "Oh, look, it scores this 52.8, which is lower than the previous model 68, but they still made the graph to show this." And whoever did this kept doing it. So deception of across models, coding deception, is it lower or higher? This is actually lower. This is 47, this is 50. And so they tried to make it look as if it was a better model. This was really bad, particularly all the flack that OpenAI gets for not being open anymore. And Grok with a Q memed it, and they're like, okay, yeah, I mean, number of people using us is 1 million, which is much higher than 1.6 at Burning Man at 250. And this has been a running joke about their pricing and trying to compete. I went a little bit internet viral, not as much I think they'd like. But it was sad. And I just want to take a moment to note, I mean, I think one of the sad parts is that I think most AI companies are being held to a very high standard. And particularly because people's concern about data privacy continues, people's concerns about how open they are about what happens in the model, what happens 3 years from now. And so building that trust is very important. And, I hope OpenAI and everybody learned from this. You can't mess with graphs just to make them look good on a launch. These graphs, I think, are actually realistic. I think for me, one of the big, big jumps was the health bench. And the health bench is seriously hard healthcare problems, and to a point where, one of the people they introduced during this was a healthcare task. These, I presume, are without a great healthcare prompt. When we worked with companies in the healthcare on my AI healthcare class, for normal GP-based questions and reasonably hard diagnostics, most of the models with a great prompt, access to the right data, are achieving 98, 99%. We had in the last AI update, if you'd like to go check that out, a great study by Microsoft that was again hitting 98, 99% using the models. But on the general hard bench that they run internally, it's great to see these leaps in numbers. But healthcare is a great frontier that the AI models are doing really well at. Obviously, big disclaimer, don't use AI, particularly the flash quick models for healthcare. Always consult a doctor before doing anything. This to me was ChatGPT 5 was a big launch. And one of the interesting parts about ChatGPT 5 is that, again, for me, really the story is the ChatGPT 5 High, the pro model, not even the thinking model, the pro model, which you have to spend either the $200 on or subscribe to the API. I think that's at the very high end. That's what we're really seeing as the clear winner here by a lot. The rest is just making sure that the costs work for them more than anything else. But if you look at the open source models, this has been a criticism for OpenAI for quite a while. You're called OpenAI, but all of your models are closed. You are not really giving them open. And they delivered. I mean, they had to wait, they had to postpone by a couple of weeks because I think some of the other open models are there. And I'm going to show this to you running on my computer. I have a 2-year-old MacBook Pro, lots of RAM though, 128. And I was able to load the 120 model and run it fairly fast. This took about 45 seconds to run a full NDA through this and to get quite a decent evaluation and run on this. And I used the 20 billion parameter model and all. This shouldn't work. And the reason why I'm not doing it live is I did this to show on another webinar, and it crashed my computer because I can't have Zoom and this working at the same time. This shouldn't work. You should not be able to run a 120 billion parameter model on your MacBook laptop, which is 2 years old, and have that kind of speed and tokens, and quality is high. And so for those of you who've been waiting, I used both Olama and to Studio to get a local model to work. Please try it. They're fast, they're good. Whether you have on-site NVIDIA GPU or just using a Mac, it is brilliant. And for me, the biggest parts is that they've open sourced most of the model. So we've already started seeing specialized versions of these models come out. This leads to sovereign AI, every single country coming up with their own AI that matches their values and culture, which is important. But it also allows the open source community, particularly outside of China. China has been a great leader in open source models to start looking at the USA as well. Please try it. It's worth it to try to run it locally. One of the big things we've been predicting since last year is by the end of 2025, most models are going to be run on your laptop or on your phone, particularly at the higher end level. And this is nothing to do with the technology or the size of the model. It's mostly a chip shortage. We just don't have enough custom chips. You have a CPU, you have a GPU, and all of you will either have a TPU or an LPU, depending on what you decide to call it, that runs these models specifically. And there are 4 or 5 companies that specialize in this. So please check these out. A lot of fun and obviously fully local, super, super high on privacy and security. These models, especially the 120, is a genuine model. This is not just a random shoot off. It is uh, best in class hitting. And let me point to a couple. O3, which was the top model, which I loved just before ChatGPT 5. Good comparison there. Here, O3 with tools, OSS with tools, very much comparison, right? So coding, math, Health Bench, absolutely spectacular comparison. This is a real open source model that is up there with what was the state of the art just about a month ago. So worth using, worth experimenting on, and if you need that kind of privacy and security, worth running locally. And this is what I want to say, and I'm going to talk about this just for a second, right? So this is what exponential looks like. We talked a lot about exponential AI in the last couple of updates, and you just see this, right? A linear curve would have been something, I don't know, like this, maybe that this, right? But the ability to do this type of massive curve, even with GPT-5 and Matter, is pretty intense. So I know there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, AI is plateauing or it's not working, but with tools, with a lot of the techniques, we are seeing a huge leap, particularly in software engineering tasks, but all across the board. And I had a moment with like GPT-5, particularly the Pro model, where it just hit me. This is absolutely a big leap above, but you need to know how to use it. You need to know how to use AI. You need to have a grasp on this. Only then you really get the benefits. And I can see why people are frustrated. They hear about how amazing AI, how brilliant it is, but then it doesn't work for them. And That's why the vjal Institute is there. And I think that's what the great work that our awesome trainers and coaches and consultants are doing is to get people that value out of the AI investments they've made. But of course, there is the dark side. And we're seeing a lot more of these. And this is something that I want to take a moment on. We're seeing a significant percentage of the population, maybe 3 to 5%, maybe larger, who are susceptible to psychosis. And these are normal people. They're our friends. They could even be you and me, where you allow them to sit and work on a problem and go down a rabbit hole and ask question and answer again and again. You will go down these rabbit holes at exponential pace, right? So, earlier you would talk to a friend or you talk to somebody and you talk about an idea or a conspiracy theory or something strange. And, one question, two question back in an hour, maybe you've discussed four, five things, but 5 hours, unlimited question answers, and unfortunately, some of these models validating what you said will sort of go down. We talked about this in the New York Times article that came out. We covered this a bit, but we're seeing more and more. So please, for those of your friends who are using AI extensively for non-professional use, going down these questions, help them get out of this spiral if they are. This is becoming more and more a concern. And this was surprising. We expected this, but the number of people, how massive it was, a huge backlash. And people were so upset that 4.0 disappeared, that 4.5 disappeared. People were saying they lost their romantic partner, they lost their best friend, they lost their supporter. They brought it back. So you can manually turn these models on and use the old models again. And Sam Altman and others came out and sort of finally apologized for it, but we're also surprised, as am I. Um, but this also means for the enterprise that more and more, and you can go back and check out our videos on MCPs on this, is we are going to see models which appeal to people. People say, look, you need to hire me. You need to hire the model that comes with me, that, I am most productive when using X model or Y model. And you need to allow that in the enterprise. We're not there yet, but I do see more and more people getting very opinionated and having very strong preferences for very specific models. And this is something that's only going to get more and more of an issue in the next year as these models start to diverge in their personalities and people connect to them and really, really feel that they're a true partner in how they work. This was a big leap. For those of you who haven't seen this, we haven't had a new sorting algorithm. I know what, 50 years or something. Dijkstra is really old. And Dijkstra is like the number one sort. We've just got this. Now, one, of course, coming out of a top university in China really proves their math chops. But sorting and the shortest path is everywhere. Everything from navigation to warehouse optimization to all of this. And the fact that we have a new algorithm is a huge boost for everything, including AI. We're going to see maybe 2x to 200x improvements in a lot of different things if this algorithm actually is pulled in and pushed into a lot of things. If you are using shortest path routes, again, optimizations, navigations, all of that, read the paper, apply the algorithm, AI can help. And it should give you a big, big boost all across the board. I think this is one of those nice things that we needed. Again, I think 40, 50 years since the last one, Dijkstra's algorithm. And this should, I think, change computer science textbooks and classes all across the world in the next 30, 60 days. I saw this. 95% of AI pilots are failing, according to an MIT study. Oh, AI bubble. Oh, every single media outlet, all of my journalist friends rushing to try to get the AI stock market to crash. Um, and I completely believe this, and I understand completely why. And here's why they're failing. They're doing pilots and POCs. I do not like pilots and POCs because they're not AI transformation. They're picking up shiny objects that the vendor and your people are fully incentivized to make look good, but they're not fundamentally changing the organization. And that's, by the way, exactly what we've been teaching at the vjal Institute is happening at the organizations that MIT looked at. It's just surface. They're not going in and they're not learning. They're not understanding. Their C-suites, their boards are not aligned. All of the wonderful things that we recommend. And so I'm going to use that moment to remind people, if you happen to be around New York or can fly in, please join me for our completely new flagship Agentic and Exponential AI Transformation course for C-suite leaders, for board members, fully revamped. We just had the Dubai edition, spectacular, 80, 90 plus full house waiting list. We still have seats for the New York one. We extended and expanded the number of seats. We're going to use about 5 or 6 amazing in-class agents that are going to help you prompt better, that are going to help you plan better. And the results have so far been absolutely spectacular. If you haven't had a chance, please sign up. And again, if this gets waitlisted by the time you sign up, please let me know. Drop me an email, drop in the team of the email. We'll be happy to try and get you a seat or your team a seat. One of the nice parts is this is very much aimed at teams as well. We're going to cover a whole bunch of things from agentic, from second one to how to get exponential performance and thrive on that. We're going to move past chatbots very quickly to process optimizations. This for me is amazing. A lot of the failures that you're seeing in the pilots and projects are because of just simple best practices. We have about 10 to 12 of them, which we can now have fundamental change. But more importantly, of course, is just looking at governance. How do you get this into your organization? That 95% failure rate uh, is expected if you haven't gone through the vjal method. If you go through our method, I'm convinced it'll flip the other way. Super de-risking, super chances of success. And I will leave you at that. Let's move on. More crazy stuff. Yeah. So for those of you who remember Annie and Valentine on the left, this is Elon Musk, really breaking Japan after Annie launched. And of course, this is your first shot at AI girlfriend or boyfriend. Facebook's answer to try to achieve relevance is it's global cringe right now. And these are user generated. Okay. So they're not, to be fair, these are not Facebook Meta endorsed AI models the way Annie and Valentine are. But I mean, talk to Russian girl, 5 billion message, talk to stepmom, 3.3 million message, granny cougar, 400. Yeah. So if you're wondering where people are using AI for, there is an entire industry here on the personal relationships, odd conversations, a taboo, I guess, which is absorbing a whole bunch of humanity. And so if you're wondering where all those tokens are going, well, here you have it. I'm not sure the most healthiest conversations, but if you have mainstream companies like X and Facebook realizing that, okay, this is the early adopter AI segment, it just goes to show, I think, that, what humanity prioritizes or what we will first go for. I'm not sure if there's any key takeaways from that, except somebody's using AI a lot, and perhaps it's not to figure out how to get to the best mortgage rate. It's a lot of other things that are happening. I'll leave it at that. Um, Two major issues with AI has been pretty much almost solved. One of them is never use PDFs, never use PDFs, never use PDFs. If you have a AI problem, the first question I'm going to ask you is, did you use a PDF? And the reason why is what happens when you use a PDF, it explodes, converts to text, formatting goes everywhere. Now, there's a whole bunch of tools that are coming out. There are two very good ones that I think are changing the percentage of error rate to a large extent. Lang extract is one of them, and this is absolutely brilliant. I love the source location. I love the optimization for long documents. But this is the true breakout one. Dots OCR, it's open source, it's free, it's small enough that you can run on your computer, and it is absolutely king on the benchmarks. Please download, try. It's a little bit hard to set up. But I'm hoping that the big AI companies, this has been one of my biggest complaints with all the AI companies, is they're using very poor PDF to text, very poor reading. I know companies like Claude and a little bit of Gemini are trying their best, but it's still for enterprise a huge issue. A lot of the hallucinations that you have is just poor reading of PDFs, poor reading of documents, poor reading of graphs and numbers. Um, Look at this. There are existing amazing high-end tools which are very cheap as well. Mistral has a great OCR system for AI. You have Llama Index. You also have, of course, the very traditional ones from Adobe and Microsoft, which are very industry-based and could be very good. But focus on these. I think we're getting leaps and we finally have solutions. And, Dots is free. Perfect. This was a surprise. There's those moments where I still have that feeling of stunned shock. This is one of them. And let me play the video for you.
What you're seeing are not games or videos. They're worlds. Each one of these is an interactive environment generated by Genie-3, a new frontier for world models. With Genie-3, you can use natural language to generate a variety of worlds and explore them interactively, all with a single text prompt. Let's see what it's like to spend some time in a world. Genie-3 has real-time interactivity, meaning that the environment reacts to your movements and actions. You're not walking through a pre-built simulation. Everything you see here is being generated live as you explore it. And Genie-3 has world memory. That's why environments like this one stay consistent. World memory even carries over into your actions. For example, when I'm painting on this wall, my actions persist. I can look away and generate other parts of the world. But when I look back, the actions I took are still there. And Genie-3 enables promptable events, so you can add new events into your world on the fly. Something like another person, or transportation, or even something totally unexpected. You can use Genie to explore real-world physics and movement, and all kinds of unique environments. You can generate worlds with distinct geographies, historical settings, fictional environments, and even other characters. We're excited to see how Genie-3 can be used for next-generation gaming and entertainment. And that's just the beginning. Worlds can help with embodied research, training robotic agents.
I'll pause there. Stunning, brilliant. I'm still in shock. We expected this end of 2025. It's here early, obviously not accessible yet. Google's keeping their and playing their cards close to their chest. But huge leap. Can you imagine how much time would people spend in these worlds? What worlds would they create? Every time you can create a whole world consistent, explore it, it's live, it's tailor-made. I mean, obviously the gaming community, this is incredible with interactivity, but also storytelling, learning, completely transforms film, books, audio. This is a new genre in itself. And what's interesting is that, we're starting to measure consumption by unit time, right? Everybody has X number of hours they're going to spend on entertainment and on consumption. Now, whether they go to a cinema and watch a movie or they stay at home and read a book has been the classic duopoly. But now imagine you're creating your own worlds, and these are created live. For those who didn't quite get it, this is how it works. Every time you make a movement, let's say you click the button, go forward, it live generates a unique image. Just like, what's the next word in the transformer LLM? These images are live. So no two worlds are alike, no two experiences are alike. You combine this with VR, everybody gets their own custom, unique world. Now, obviously, to our earlier points on these custom worlds, when Genie 2 came out, curation matters as much as custom experience. You're going to be 5 or 10 people who just have the ability to think through and break these beautiful worlds and that you want to, but this is a new medium. And I'm really excited to see what artists and creative directors and all of you once you have access to it, are able to create and do by prompting, by exploring, by interacting. And, maybe Genie 4 or something between. What happens when you get a whole bunch of these people together and, it generates it for them in real time jointly. Beautiful stuff. Have a look, read the paper. Um, it's moment like these where you feel, oh my God, the entire thing shifted once again. And congratulations to Google for pushing humanity forward with this. There's a Chinese model of this also out, which is accessible right now. Not as good from what I could see, but in the next update, if I can get it to work, I'm going to happily try it and show you what that looks like. This is fun. It's a little bit dated because it's been a few days. But I literally yesterday my kids came home from school. We drove back, and I said, okay, let's just take 2 minutes. Let's draw sailboats, and we did exactly this. It was pretty fun. They were pretty amazed. This was really cool. You can do the Grok 4. There are versions of Google Gemini on Android which can do it, and you can draw anything and just you know, take a picture and it converts it into a great video. Please try it. This is fun for kids, but the online versions for people and old photographs and all are amazing. People have taken photographs of their parents, nostalgia of 40 years ago, got the movement right. It is pretty brilliant. Higgs also has this. Others also have this. But I know Elon's been really promoting Grok 4's ability to do it. It is quite spectacular. I'll admit that for sure. This was a big drop, and this is for two. So one, I'm going to let you hear this for a second. And I'm just making sure sound is on.
I keep the storm deep under sea.
Higher quality, much more control. I love Suno, I love Udio. That's something I do all the time. A lot of our trainers and coaches love them too. 11 Labs Music, two reasons why this for me is a game changer. First, quality, but also very, very high customization down depth and good claims of licensed music, wherein they licensed all the training data. So theoretically, although I really didn't see anyone get sued for using Suno and Udio, even though the companies are being sued, they are clean titles. So if you're a large corporate, one of our Fortune 500 clients here, this is what we've been saying now, fully licensed. You can use this for hold music, product launches, brilliant. And it's 11 Labs. And 11 Labs has one thing which I absolutely adore is the voice cloning. We're hopefully going to see your voice in this music stuff very soon. It should have been here already publicly. I know privately exists, but we will see that. I do want to take a second to, of course, talk about the Q&A. Byron, very quickly, C-suite training. Byron, if you took my class before April 2025, everything we do in these 2 days is absolutely new. Within the first 10 minutes, we are making agents. We are completely changing all of that. So it is a completely new class end to end. So I would not just come on day two. I mean, this is a full new class. I would definitely look at both days. Bring your teams. It's fantastic for alignment. I'm super excited for New York. Dubai was ridiculously great. We got amazing feedback on that. We've improved the class even further. A lot of our agents are now live there. It's about 6 or 7, which we did in Dubai. We probably do about 8 when we come by the time it's in New York, which is in a few days. And these agents are just helping you not just learn, reflect, turn, but they're sending reports, they're creating prompts for you. So that's day one is 4 or 5 new agents. So worth it just to come and see the new agents, Byron. But thank you for that question. Very, very good. Janet, lots of other sessions in the US. Stick back again for Chambers of Commerce VIPO. There's a secret calendar. Drop me a mail. Happy to do that. That's the main one. I know there are more sessions coming up in Miami, maybe in November. There might be sessions in Dubai as well. But the New York one right now is sort of our flagship one. Anonymous attendee, please do an agentic session Toronto. Reach out to us. Let's get it again. Open offer. Get 50, 60 people to sign up any location. Very happy to go and deep dive and do this. Our goal is 1 million people. I'm happy to start those numbers, but also very happy to train the trainer programs, which are amazing. And please join as well. Kapil, yes, good to see you here, man. Click on the Imagine. Has to be the app on the phone, has to be the Grok app. Click on Imagine, and you'll see a upload picture to audio there. I know it took me a little bit while as well, I have to admit. Byron, a lot of time on prompting, and argue that big prompt effort has changed the last 6 months. Byron, you can take our online course, by the way. And speaking of the online courses, my teacher just messaged me saying that I have not shown those to you yet. Okay. Well, let me do that and get up and running with you on there. We have our new updated online courses, particularly on prompting. And she really asked me, in class, when I'm teaching this is no longer prompting. So we are focusing a lot more on design think, holistic prompting, and expertise transfer. And again, even in the New York C-suite class, right? There's no prompting session. Rather, we get the agent to help you prompt a little bit, but we've moved to more on how do we get your expertise transferred, or how do we create these agents in a manner that both reflect the workflow and the tool usages you need them on one side, but the prompt is just a reflection of how you see them interact with the real world, whether that's people, data, segments, and all. So it's a completely different approach to prompting, which in many ways is actually a bit of a throwback to design think back in 2006, 2008. So we don't do, classic prompt chain of thought. We don't do classic elements or prompts. People force me to show the templates, fine. But really, really design think and expertise transfer is what you're looking at. And let me post. You sign up to become a member for you or your teams. I really recommend the teams membership. You get a lot of the stuff in the founder stuff, but for a lot more people. Highly recommend that. If you want to sign up, please do. The Web 10 is valid for the next hour or so, and you can get 10% off easily on that. And you have all our new beautiful access courses, and the new C-suite fundamentals and advanced and systems are absolutely great. Let me send you the link for the membership code as well. That includes our completely new prompting course. That includes a whole bunch of stuff, maybe 2.5 days now of full content, and we're updating them consistently. So the next 30, 60 days, you're going to see a lot of updates, including access to our exclusive forums, which we've been alpha testing with some of our most amazing FAFO, fool around and figure out experts at vjal. Let me get back to quickly finishing this, and I'm going to deep dive into some of the Q&A because some of these questions are very nice. This exists. It keeps coming and running out. Nano Banana, don't Google it. It'll send you to a bunch of sites which will take your money for no reason. This was a model that showed up. We are presuming it's Google, although I'm questioning if it's Gemini AI actually posted this. I couldn't find it. Happy to deep dive again on it. But this is, if this exists, finally, maybe in the next 2 weeks, the quality is incredible. It hit the top of the arena before disappearing. So obviously someone with a lot of juice who can make that happen. So watch out for this launch. But yeah, don't Google it. It's not worth it. It's a deep dive into a bunch of fake sites. But the quality that came out for the brief moment it was there was pretty amazing. Gemini DeepThink, this is their award-winning math exercise. For those of you who are overpaying, as I am, for every AI, you can find free versions of it in your little DeepThink tools segment. Obviously, you need the Ultra Plus Plus subscriptions. Brilliant at just math and code. Not really good at anything else. I have to admit, I was hoping that it would work on all across our systems, but this number is pretty insane. Humanities last exam, Grok 4 heavy hit similar numbers, very close. But the fact that this can sort of the deep think its way, this is the pro version. This is a big leap. This is a big leap. Grok hitting 24, and but again, tool usage pushing up a little bit more. GPT-5 didn't even put their humanities large exam systems up without the tool, so I think didn't really go further than they had really hoped. But it's available now. Please try it. And I'm hoping once they flip up maybe Gemini 3, this will become the new base of it. David, the 10% discount code is a discount on all of our membership plans, Web 10. I put it in the chat, and you can just put that in there, and it'll give you 10% off. I have to say, Claude is fully focused on coding. To be fair, seem to go back between Claude and Gemini to sort of argue with each other until I'm happy. I did something last couple of days that scared me. I had a call, and someone was like, "Hey, we need a image in a specific format," and I was like, "You know what? It's taking me too long to find the software." So I just loaded up Claude and Gemini 2.5 Pro. 5 prompts later, I made probably one of the best software conversion systems just using Python and off-the-shelf libraries. And there's a lot of custom stuff required, and kind of restored my faith a little bit in vibe coding that was kind of depreciating. We have a lot of good best practices now for software developers and vibe coders and such coming in. Again, the older you are, the better you are at AI. Architecture matters. We might do a specific deep dive, of course, in that. 3 updates ago, we did do a quick vibe coding deep dive, which goes through some of the basics. But there's a lot you can now learn on how to just get higher quality. Hint, pull the entire documentation in MD file. And I'm hoping between the MCPs and the MD documentation files, the next update we'll do, I know some of these words are a little bit too much in terms of technical jargon, but if you're into vibe coding, if you're into software development, we'll deep dive on how to use these, or even if you just want to try it out, they're pretty easy to do as concepts. Andrew, thank you for asking. How do you get them to argue with each other? There is a way to do a very fancy orchestration. You can connect them using APIs and they argue, etc. Or because all I had at the time was uh, my phone, I just copy pasted between them. I said, look, this is what Claude said. What would you respond to Claude? And Gemini was like, well, you suck. And, here's all the bugs. And I said, hey, Claude, Gemini says this, all these bugs. And Claude said, well, okay, fair enough. I admit there are 4 bugs, but these are not bugs. This is a design choice. And, 5 minutes of copy back and forth work pretty well on my phone. You can orchestrate these as auto agents, but you'll be surprised how good it is by just, copy pasting it between them and telling them to argue. It works. Um, Yeah, quick word on Copilot. Love Copilot. It is very nice. And by the way, part of this story is how quickly Microsoft responded, repaired this, got their act together, were able to get Copilot back on track. And so, that is a large part of the story. Just shows how responsive Microsoft is. But this is the other problem which I have more and more that we're seeing with clients all across the world. Sometimes it's better to have a ChatGPT or a Claude or a Google or even a Copilot that is not connected to all your stuff than connected to all your stuff. And especially as you're training and getting people used to AI and this, having independent AI systems that don't connect to things might be a more superior way of privacy and security. Just a thought, particularly for those of you who are deploying Copilot. One of the things that I would say is it's very powerful. Obviously, you can connect everything, but maybe keep it in a little isolation box and selectively connect as you get more faith in it. And I would say that this is a win in the hat for all the non-integral models. MCPs, again, please go back to a couple of episodes, see those MCPs. They'll change this, and we'll deep dive next time. I think the MCPs are almost there. I do them in class. We did check them out 60 days ago, but they're almost there where, they're achieving that aha moment again. Just a little bit slow though. This is fantastic. I love, love, love Notebook LM. Always use it. Continue so it. Best marketing guy ever. Multiple audio previews with custom prompts.
Welcome to the deep dive.
That's right.
Getting the inside track on Joyce's.
Full studio mode and this video overview here. Great start. I've done it multiple times with a couple of videos that I love. It's standard. It seems old. It seems a little bit childish, but oh my God, it's getting so much better. And you can imagine once they connect this with VO3, how we're going to really, really, really move the needle on these explainers. Please try it. One of our favorite systems to use and to showcase. And don't forget, if you're in the audio overview, to click on these three to customize the prompt. You really want this radio show. You want this podcast to do it. 50 languages. Don't forget to change the settings for the languages. And of course, get a Google Workspace account to ensure privacy or fiddle with the settings until you can sort of get that up and running. Uh, when- uh, you know, um, the explainers are so good that I actually convert them from voice to text and we use them with clients for their marketing material. Really cool. A couple of other questions as I go, San. There will be a recording, but it'll be a little bit sanitized. Some of my perhaps more live opinions uncovered, and some of your questions perhaps deleted a bit. So we'll see about that. Alkram, we'll get the team to contact you. That's fantastic. And I'll make a note of this. And of course, just on LinkedIn or everything else. Very happy to do it, or just, outreach at vjal.ai. See it and good questions, which look at this. And just drop us a message. Perfect. Rewrites or grammar check, instant, very useful. Yeah, I would just make a custom GPT. With that, I think it's good. The prompt has to be good, otherwise, again, it tries to truncate or everything else. But honestly, like even when it does the grammar check, it's fairly useless. Don't trust it. What model for what was 100%? Our formula at Vajal is pick the right model with the right context and the right relevant data that you choose. Can't trust it. Remember, not a database, doesn't have a database, doesn't know anything. Never trust AI. You bring the data. Please, you bring the context. What is the consumer GPT-5? David, I would say a GPT-5 is probably GPT-5 medium, medium minus minus. A pro is what I would say GPT high would be. So I think a medium would be equivalent to GPT-5 thinking for at least 2 to 3 minutes. That's what I would put it as that. I would absolutely try in the API. If you don't want to spend the $200 on the pro, you'll see a huge, huge difference. Can you share some of the healthcare prompts? Yes, healthcare class coming up. Become a Vijal member. All of our new courses are free for a year. So, if you get the $5,000 membership or the $10,000 membership for 10, 20 people of your team, everything is free for a year. So all of our new courses, all of our new prompts, 7,000 prompt directory, all of that is completely there. Importance of scores and what they represent. Actually, that's a great thing. I should refresh that every time I do this. The scores are really important, and I'm going to come back to this question on this. Let's keep moving on and look at some more scores. Orchard AI, front-end UI, and these guys are really pushing on. We did entire vibe coding, and all these, by the way, are all low-code vibe coders, right? Lovable in particular, and all of these. But we now have AIs on the vibe coding, which are really thinking. So Orchard is focusing on front-end UI, and compared to everybody else. But as we see more and more of this specialization, I think you're going to see quality improve. And please check out our vibe coding update in a couple of previous webinars to understand why this is important to do this. This for me was the big AI startup moment. This is making a fun of a lot of the tools, right? Where it's basically a wrapper around, Perplexity, for example, a wrapper around existing tools. And so, people, again, the same joke. Hey, instead of paying, if you pay Claude or you pay ChatGPT per 1,000 words $1, and your customers can get it at 80 cents, you're going to get a good ARR. And so the sustainability of these wrappers are being called. It's like, okay, you have this major, huge AI bill. Obviously, your customers are happy to pay, 100 million to get effective like a 20, 25, 15% discount, or more each time you run these. I mean, you convert these to a monthly subscription, right? And it starts to get really strange. And so part of the issue with the AI startup scene right now, even those unicorns and all, is, as we talked about maybe 10 years ago when the sharing economy first came out. Remember the sharing economy, Uber, Airbnb, and all? Whether those rates are sustainable, and whether these startups are sustainable the moment they actually have to stop blowing loss throughs, right? This gave me pause. I thought this was something worth thinking about. Um, a lot of the stats that we work with, and a lot of the stats that really scare me about job losses or this, etc. But once you go between there, and this was something else, right? Computer programmers, if you would just take the computer programmers, you would say they peaked in 2000, and oh my God, computer programmers are dying. We just started calling them software developers, right? Out of nowhere. This is the US Census, of course. So I wonder, in many of the job losses with anything, and we are seeing those and all, but we're also seeing, I mean, our software developers, as this thing is starting to fall, are now calling themselves what, agent developers or prompt engineers. I don't know. And maybe that's something else that's going on. But I just thought it was a good time to just relook at the data and understand that perhaps it's just, it's not these big shifts that are happening, but just people relabeling. So worth deep diving. Um, we're all struggling to explain why this happened, and why. So Open Router, great service if you want to use a whole bunch of different AIs and great building systems and all for that. But this cliff was, I mean, there's a lot of speculation still. And what happened on this date, right? Is it because, OpenAI became more efficient? Did the API go thing? Why token? And the biggest thing is the start of the summer holidays. And it's like, wait a minute. Once the students stop using AI for their homeworks and projects and classes and all of that, this is now the new standard of what AI usage looks like without students cheating. Did I say cheating? I meant, accelerating using AI. This is something that I would think about more, is just to see where the utilization is coming from. Now, honestly, I hope this is just some sort of feature update from OpenAI that's allowing you to be more efficient in tokenizations, maybe an update to their cache. But I was close to buying that. Yeah, I mean, this is summer vacations. Maybe Europe went on holiday, 3 months there, so you're seeing that as well. And the last one before I just move to your question, we're almost on the R. Of course, the Chinese continue to do amazing jobs. Again, SOTA level advanced code. For those of you particularly who are very happy using them, either natively or by running them on these servers, this is fantastic performance. So although if you have ChatGPT and all stealing the show, and OSS, the open source version of ChatGPT, really, really performing high. I mean, these are great numbers. And so I think we have a long way to go before open source and proprietary really see much of a change. Open source is definitely constantly catching up, maybe 3 to 6 months at best. But it also means that the rest of us, training models, fine-tuning them, sovereign AI, every country being able to have their own AI and control over it, paranoid organization people having their own AI and having control over it, all of those are still very much possible. And that's heartening. It's not just a couple of closed labs, which, will have everything. Open source is giving everybody a good run for their money. Follow me on LinkedIn. I promise to post more interesting stuff than I usually do. There is incredible new things that are coming to AI. We have a new forum that's coming out, which will be available to members very soon. We're just, we're trying to get our robots to help answer questions and to participate. And so it's going to be kind of fun to do. And of course, our WhatsApp channel again. And let me run back to questions. Can you show examples on building AI agents, recommend technology build agents? Take our agentic course, become a member, 10% off, or join me in New York or in Dubai in December. We have incredible agents now. The full agentic course, how to connect data, how to connect tools, how to do workflows. We do it in class. We stopped using normal AI. First 10 minutes of class, we build maybe 2 agents, 3 agents. By I know half an hour in class, you're building multi-agent ideas, but using our agentic prompts, and we'll build on those. And many of our trainers who are coming in, we're transferring these tools to them. And so hopefully your standard vjal class, wherever you are, will have this as normal. If you are one of those lucky people who have access to our little bit secret, but an open secret, slowly coaching, because there's no marketing materials for it, agentic week is week 5 or 6. And so those are fantastic. Mandani, what is the uh Mandani? Mandani, I hope I got that right. What are the thoughts on deploying a small language model? You've seen the beautiful paper on small large language models. There was a Gemma 270 million which came out, which I didn't really talk about. I was trying to find comps and benchmarks. It wasn't really there. Um, I am not convinced. I know there are 4 or 5 papers out. I do believe a highly fine-tuned 7 billion. I mean, the 20 billion parameter, so guys, so average, like a ChatGPT 4 model is about 70 billion. Anything less, used to feel weak, but it's not about the number of parameters. It's not about the size of data. It's quality now that matters. But I think as long as you can get certain tasks fine-tuned with certain data, I think they're really good. But I'm not seeing the small models the way Apple and all have been trying to use it. The mixture of experts really do it. I'm not going to go into the tech details, but there's a lot of new papers on, building large models, and this is by how some of these models are coming up, right? And removing the neural networks and just keeping the activation layers. That's how 120 billion works. So yeah, and once the chips are fast enough, I don't think small language models, unless they do some, 1 or 2 specific functions, are really the future in terms of general purpose. But I think that's obvious based on their size, right? Agentic session in Toronto. Aha, makes sense. .OCR, can it output a PDF or a document and then the output take it back ChatGPT? Is there interpretation? Guillermo, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? You're talking about complicated graphs and math symbols and all converted into a manner markdown that LLMs love. So please try it. It's actually that good. And again, if you don't want to fight with dots at OCR, which I was doing for a while to get it to work, I just head over to Mistral. Mistral OCR does something very simple. Andrew NG has a OCR. We covered that in the last update that also does this. And of course, if it's a classic thing like an invoice or a receipt, you can use one of the older OCR tools. But these advanced ones are supposed to take very complicated looking charts and graphs and convert them into text that LLMs understand. What's your opinion on Perplexity? David, Perplexity it's a wrapper, right? So it uses Claude plus, maybe Gemini and Google and connects them all together. So it's not an actual AI model. It's an AI solutions company where they pick up, thing. Firecrawl, for example, is a beautiful one as well. They created an open source version of Perplexity. Same concept. They're not an AI native company. Well, native, not the word. Pure AI company. They're a wrapper company. And wrapper companies are a lot of the 100 million ARRs are basically wrapper companies. So as long as you manage to keep your edge and people are using you, I think it's quite good. Mariana, the Train the Trainer online, you can access it anytime you want. It is on demand. You do have to clear our application process. Um, we kind of, to be fair, and I'll say it here, just want you to make sure that you do at least there's an exam and you do it, but it's not that bad. It's about you could finish the entire training in about a day and a half if you do it yourself. Of course, the in-person training takes that and extends that. And please join me for that. But here's an online one. It's always on. It's a little bit more stringent just to ensure high quality. You mentioned to use the API version of GPT-5. Luciano, good and bad news. So that's bad news first. On AI, and let's look at the API pricing, right? So yeah, you are sort of doing that, but this is what you're paying, right? And this is the base plus plus. So it's per million words. So you're saving the $200, but you can go there. And if you are brave and are willing to pay per million words, you can go to the OpenAI playground. And then you put that in. And this is where you can start to put messages and run GPT-5. Ooh, let me try to see if I have access to this one in this account for this. But again, this is now doing that. And again, you can add your tools. All the old ones as well. Okay, GPT-5 and effort here. All of these things, reasoning effort high, velocity not high. Um, yeah, so this is what you're looking at, right? So this is what the high version looks like. And they charge you for the prompts which are rotating in the high effort. That works really well. So yeah, that's what they mean by it when they mean um, just using high. It's self-prompting, and they'll charge you for all the tokens. So you'll burn through that million very fitted. Um, uh, of course, the WhatsApp. I apologize. Many people did not get it. There you go. You can go to the vjal model there as well. The API, Andrew, you can use the thinking model, and you can choose between whether the thinking model is low effort, medium effort, high effort. Same thing as Gemini, same thing in others, and that's a great way to control costs. I think that is something that is really, really there. Um, Perfect. Let's do a couple of last questions on this. I'm hitting the R. AI agents and small size businesses adapt to AI to focus on able to open more value to these businesses. That's an entire class. Join me in New York. I think that's something that is going to be absolutely amazing. I know anonymous attendee, drop me an email. Very, very happy to talk about that. We are doing a lot to work with SMEs and medium business as well as our large clients. And a lot of what we're doing now is really helping them think about full transformations, right? And I think small agencies, particularly who have good clients and you really understand these clients, we're happy to partner with you and help you supercharge it. We have an entire program coming out on helping agencies and consultants who work with existing clients to help them get really good at delivering this stuff. So I'll stop there, guys. Thank you so much as always, and please sign up and join me for the next webinar. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead.